I love printing. I love printing. I love it. I love printing. Hey folks, welcome back to another edition of Printer to Printer with me, Warren Werbitt, your host. Today we have another special guest. As you know, all my guests are special. Today, particularly special, we have Vicki Strull from VickiStrull.com or Vicki Strull Design, or how do you like to call?
Well, I'm a designer, so I call it Vicki Strull Design, but I'm a packaging designer and a brand strategist and a design strategist.
Cool. So why don't you take a couple minutes, just tell us a little bit about what you do.
Oh, sure. So I'm a packaging designer, so I design packaging, labels, cartons, unboxing experiences for I've done it for huge top tier brands. I've designed packaging for startup brands. So it's a range of things. But I'm a graphic designer by trade, and I really understand the strategy behind captivating on the shelf and how important that is. And also, if you're a direct to consumer brand, really understand the importance of memorable unboxing experiences and how that really adds to customer value. So sometimes I design directly with the client. Sometimes a printer converter will call me and they have a customer that needs some packaging design, and I do it through them.
Cool. Just because as you're saying design packaging, you mentioned you were just at Label Expo. I'm just curious. I'm just going to bounce to embellishments for a moment. How much of the design work that you're doing for the packaging incorporates embellishment, be it the foils or embossing, debossing, lamination?
100%. Because two things. I recognize how important haptics are in the customer experience, but also full transparency. I do a lot of work for SAPI, and I have access to a lot of research, and there's so much research out there about touch. And I was involved in a research study with SAPI North America. And that was between SAPI North America and Clemson University. And the research talks about the correlation between touch and sales. I'm actually speaking about that at Pack Expo early November, and then I'll also do a webinar on it. So if any of your listeners are interested in learning about that research study and the correlation, and I'll just give you a little preview. When someone touches a package just 2 times, and it's a premium package, and we define premium as highest quality of substrate and 1 embellishment. That was it. It wasn't 5 embellishments. It was 1 embellishment. When that person touches it 2 times,
33% more likely to buy it.
50. 50%.
I went a little lower than the 50, but that's
50%, which means you're halfway home. You get someone to touch it twice and you're halfway home. And so it's astounding. And the research is so deep and so rich about the importance of touch. But what it also says is that having that haptic experience with the embellishments and high quality material is essential for gaining the confidence of the shoppers.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I mean, everyone's out there with embellishments now. And, we'll figure out on the digital side because there's a super cost to that. But I go into the store, maybe just because I'm a print lover, I got to touch everything. When I go into the liquor store, I'm not even buying for taste. I'm buying for best label.
Exactly.
But I'm consciously looking for the best label in a price range that makes sense.
I know exactly. It's the same way. Whenever I buy wine, I buy it because of the label. I mean, you go through this process. You're exactly right. You want, like, what are you getting, white or red? Then you choose what kind of white or red. Then you choose your price range. And then I'm just picking it because of the label. And interestingly, I just did a qualitative survey. I've done this once. I just did this at Label Expo. And in the presentation that I gave, I had asked people, I had said to them that every time I purchase wine, I purchase it because of the label, and ask them to concur or not. And most of the room agreed they buy it because of the label. And so that's how important packaging is.
So actually, this is what I noticed. I don't golf, but I'm in the sports store all the time because I'm buying fishing stuff. A lot of the fishing stuff has, some embossing or gloss that stands out. But if I go to the golf stuff and I go to the golf balls, and actually I'll give a plug to Curtis Packaging because I know that they print for, I think it could be, I forget the name, but I know, is it Taylor?
Could be Taylor. Yeah, it could be
Anyways,
Taylor.
If it's not Taylor, I apologize. If it is Taylor, you get a plug because they have the best KBA presses, Curtis, and they print all the boxes. But last time I was I'll give Dick's store a plug. I was in Dick's Sporting Goods and went over to the golf section. Not only are the high-end balls, that sounds really bad, but not only are the golf balls in the high-end range in embellished boxes, when you get to the low end of the golf balls, they too now have some embellishments on the packaging. I actually did even a little video a while back, probably on my YouTube channel, of it. And I was kind of like, whoa.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because then it raises the quality. I mean, there's a connection between the perception and what's inside. So people attach, and it's called sensation transference. They attach the quality of the packaging to the quality of the product inside. And so that's, of course, what's happening. And then it just keeps raising the bar for even those high quality things. So it just needs to be better and better quality of packaging if you have the highest quality of product. It's pretty amazing what packaging does.
Oh my God, it's crazy. I was actually just trying to think of a joke for the golf balls, but I'll move on from that one. So now that we're talking about embellishing,
Getting a little racy here.
Yeah. Now that we're talking about embellishing, and this wasn't even my thought before, but if embellishment for consumer is so big and popular and 50%, not my 33% guess, let's move right into the printing world now and printers and marketing, because I'm always amazed about the industry, how and I'll just put me in there, even though I don't think I'm in this group I'm talking about, don't do justice for what we do to promote ourselves and what we can do, right? My cards, all my stuff has all embellishment, all stuff, and I've always been off the charts doing anything, and it didn't matter what the cost was because it's what we do to promote. So you see a lot of packaging people, the printers. Do the packaging companies you deal with, do any of them excite you with their own marketing?
Yes, some do. I saw an interesting piece recently from someone who sent it to me. Often I get requests to look at promotional pieces from converters or from printers. So they're kind of in two, maybe more because you're around them more. I put them in two camps. There are printers and converters that understand how important relational sales is. And for those people, they understand the importance of promoting and partnering with their brands and their designers. And those printers that are still in the order taking mode don't quite understand it because it's, for them, it still feels like an order, which is a commodity. The irony is that printers, commercial printers particularly, have been promoting their customers' brands in marketing communications, but they don't necessarily do it for themselves. And they know designers because designers are their customers or their customers' customers. So it's not that hard. They're just not doing it for themselves. I liken it to, that phrase about the children of the cobbler who has no shoes, right? The shoemaker's.
Yeah.
To be honest.
So I'm just looking for one thing over here. So I keep actually, I'm gonna show you two things because
and before you show me those two things, I'll just tell you I have always had really nice promotional materials, website and cards. And if I did a promotional material early in my career, it was very nice. And people always respond to my cards and say, wow, this is a really nice card. Even now, when people say, I don't use cards anymore, which there's plenty of people that do that, they still take my card and say, wow, this is a really nice card. makes me crazy because they're not using cards. But at the same time, they'll say, wow, this is a really nice card. And I smile and say, it's what I do. So it's really hard for me when a printer doesn't have a good website and doesn't have good promotional materials or direct mail or however it is that they're promoting themselves. What they do, we have to walk our talk. So it's what I do.
Oh my God, I love you. So, okay, two things that, because when you said the card, so number one, the business card, and I don't even know where. So the business card, I'm tired of listening to people say business cards are done. You don't need them anymore. They are so full of it. And maybe the president of a big company doesn't need it because he's meeting the other president. But for the average person, first of all, a plug for Vistaprint. You're not selling billions of cards because nobody wants them. Craziest thing the other day, I'm in the store and I'm buying, and I did a post out. There's a little video. I think I put it on LinkedIn already and probably on my YouTube. I'm in the store in line and a guy taps my shoulder and I turn around and it's like this really cool dude. And he's got his business card up and he says, hey, if you ever need a haircut. And I am cracking up on the floor, tears running down my face. And I'm like, do I look like I need a haircut? He goes, but I shave too. Right? And I go, oh, maybe the guy behind you who had an afro needs you more.
Yeah.
Anyways, the point was, in the video that I did was, here's a guy, young entrepreneur, small hair cutting place, one-man shop, and he's got his business card out to me.
Yeah.
Okay. So two things came to me. Number one, you always take a person's business card when they hand it to you. I bumped into too many people who say, I don't take cards. That's insulting. Take the card, throw it away when no one's looking.
Right.
Right. Don't disrespect anyone. And number two, there is a need for business cards. And I always said it. I just redid my card. And it was actually Christine Yardley at Print Panther who did it. And we got a soft touch on the top with a little,
nice.
You can't see the raised print whisper. And then on the inside.
Great.
Right? And even my old card, everything has to have it because that's the world we live in. So when I asked you about promo, I always believed, and maybe cutting edge and always promoting what we did, right? How can you expect people to buy from you? And if you're printers, I hope you're listening me. How do you expect people to buy from you if they don't know? So I went out, my first promo, off the charts, crazy. When you say budget, I don't know what budget means. I don't have a line for marketing in my P&L, and I'm a printer. So I just figured wing it. And when I winged it, I went to a designer and I asked them to participate. I asked them if they would barter with me because they were a print customer, right? And when you barter, there's no negotiating price. My price is my price. Theirs is theirs. And they worked on the design with me. And we came up, setup box. Okay,
oh, nice.
15 years ago.
Wow.
Raised UV on it. You can't really probably see it in there. Full setup box, printed two sides, right?
Yeah.
And then printed a card. Again, spot UV. Japanese hand labor, folded, die cut. Bottle's a little out of shape now, but a water bottle with a two-sided label and a neck card.
Beautiful.
Side of the box.
Beautiful.
We delivered that to the agencies by hand, shrink wrap so that everyone could see when you walk in the door. And if the person that it was going to was not there, we did not leave it. We went back. It was not a courier. It was the representative of our company hand delivering it.
Wow. It's amazing.
People saw it. They want to know what it is. I spent design, print, everything, $80,000. If you're going to ask me what was the dollar in return, I can't tell you because I wasn't smart enough then to track that stuff. But I will tell you that 125 designers were woed by us and the phone rang.
Yeah.
Then I'll plug Xerox just because what the hell. When I bought my iGen 5 with all the colors, right, went out there, another $45,000 project, had a designer design it. Every page had the embellishments, the raised UV. It was on an MGM machine. We used the 3 extra colors that came with the machine.
Amazing.
I cut all of that. I went out there to give this to designers in the full sheet size, in the maximum sheet size that we could print digitally so that they could visually be creative. Because when you tell someone 14 by 26, doesn't mean anything.
Right.
And to give them a half-size book and say, we do double the size,
Mm-hmm.
again, who has time to think or read? So when I ask, like, what do you think? So, why do you think printers are not doing more of it when that's what we do? And it's an extension of who we are.
I don't know why they're not doing it. I mean, I think they need to. I think sometimes they're strapped for cash. And I think again, I'll put this into two categories. I think some people think if you're strapped for cash, then you can't spend extra. What they call extra is marketing. And to me, it's the marketing that helps you get to more cash. So for me, it's a chicken and egg. The marketing has to come first. For other people, it's the opposite. They need more work so they can put it into marketing. But that's its own non-self-fulfilling prophecy, because if you get more work, why would you need more marketing? Because you just got the work without the marketing. So it doesn't really make sense. But to me, without the marketing, without the materials, without being able to really connect with people and show people what you do, it's a downward spiral. And it also makes what they do a commodity, which gets back to this idea of it being an order. And if it's a commodity, it's a widget against a widget against a widget, which then someone's only deciding to work with you because of your price. So how do you get any brand loyalty? Because they're just going to price it each time. And those are the types of customers that you cultivate. Nobody wants those types of customers. They want repeat customers. If they have repeat customers, you need brand loyalty and you need partnership and collaboration, and you need to actually help them make their piece better. So even when I'm working with someone, I may have an idea on something to do for an embellishment or something, and they may say, I have a printer that I work with, and he may say, hey, what if we do it like this? Or what if we do something like this? And I go, okay, yeah, great idea. Let me see what that might look like. It's great.
I want to take you around with me everywhere I go. No, because I'm sitting here and I'm grinning and my cheeks hurt because I'm grinning so much. But it's like, when if I think about watching TV commercials or ads, right? The companies that I love are constantly putting stuff out there. Why? So I don't forget. And I have to think that some of them are smarter than I am. So I look to my fellow printers and I say, we are not printers. We have to do a paradigm shift in the print industry a long time ago, because in the old days, printers were God because you needed them. And then slowly we became, a necessary evil. All right. But the truth is, without the printer, and the reason I got into print, by the way, is because every single person that I met in life had a need for me, whether they knew it or not. And it still exists today. Printing is probably the only business where if you're a salesperson, everyone you meet is a potential customer. And it could be print and it could be digital because we're all mixed up. But the truth is, we are communication specialists as well. Right. And in being communication specialists, by delivering print, packaging, whatever our message is, we're even using video, we're using audio now, we're using AR, right? I always believe that it starts at home. And the more we could show people what we do, the more interest they will have in us. And I don't know why people don't. And you said before cost. So two things when you said the marketing. I'm a firm believer when times get super tough, you increase your marketing spend because everyone else is not. And you will be the ones out there that people will remember and see all the time because you forget about the ones that are not showing themselves in those times. So anybody listening will change your thinking, right? And then just doing the samples, doing the marketing doesn't have to be expensive. You can go out to your business partners. I don't even like the word partners, but your vendors that you have good relationships with, and negotiate. If I deal with you and I know that you buy some print for whoever, you give me $5,000 of design, I'll give you $5,000 of print. You could take the print and then go do what you do with it, sell it. But everyone's getting something. No one's getting anything for free. You can go to the paper board guys and say, I'm happy to pay you, but can you just do me a deal because I'm promoting us, I'm promoting you. And most people are happy, even if you're going to a die cutter or a finisher, everyone is happy, in my experience, to participate with you, because if you do it right, they're going to benefit from more work with you.
Yeah. Well, and I think to that end, as printers, they actually need to come up with a brand story and a narrative and what differentiates them. I mean, that's what branding is. That's what I do for a living. So coming up with that and what makes them special. Actually, I had a large company reach out to me, and I'm talking to them now because they're huge and they've never really needed marketing, but they are not sure what it would do for them. And so it all goes back to, well, where do you want to go? Like, where do you want to go in 5 years? And the marketing will help you get there. And so we're talking about now just some brand story narratives, cleaning up some presentations to make them more consistent across all of their salespeople. All of that cohesion and consistency makes them a stronger brand in the marketplace for their customers, so they can get more customers and larger brands that have even bigger budgets. I mean, that's what they're trying to do, because most companies that I meet, they don't want to stay stagnant.
It's boring. By the way, I found when I did the branding at the company and we did the different events and everybody was having fun with it because I was changing things up all the time or asking different people to participate in different elements of things. Right. And then everybody had some ownership. The other thing is, I'm going to point out to the print owners that are listening. You're not thinking about it now, I bet. But if you ever plan to sell your business, you will get more money if you market and build your brand earlier and then people start to see it. You will get more money if you have a brand versus you're just a CNC printing.
Yeah. I mean, it does. That would help. I mean, certainly, and you're more versed in the M&A world than I am in terms of this M&A and the consolidation that's happening, but a business certainly has more value if they have a recognizable brand. I mean, you can just look at that in consumer products, but it's the same in a commercial business. If it has something that's recognizable and it can go back to its loyal customers and service it's providing, of course, it's more valuable. It has to be.
Listen, I think I learned about branding by accident, right? I did a video a bunch of years ago. Now I don't say when because it makes me age, but did a video a bunch of years ago. And even though everyone was coming up to me and laughing with me, I was laughing with them. And then at some point it clicked to me that video became me a little bit. And then there was a little bit more of a promotion of me. And within the industry, I wasn't a printer anymore. I was kind of like the video guy. And then the video guy was a printer, but then he became a marketing guy, and now he's a podcast guy, and he's like the face of, kind of people put me with pink and with print.
Print is a lot.
But it was pretty cool. And then once you realize that, I mean, I bet you some people out there don't even realize that they're building their own brand, the way they dress every day, right? The same look, the glasses,
it's interesting because, I have talked to people because I think of it as, brand a package, brand a company, brand an organization, but there's also personal branding. So I've talked to people about that. You can take some of the same tenets and translate them into personal branding. So I have a logo where it's a illustration of me and it has curly hair. So typically when I go speak at a conference, I have curly hair. I don't blow it out, but sometimes I blow it out. But typically, because that's the look. I mean, so there are certain things that we do as a personal brand. The other thing that happens too, if somebody wants to build their personal brand, and you do this also with a commercial brand, there's many companies that don't recognize the true value of social media. And I don't mean social media pay-per-click. I mean posting things on LinkedIn. And if you're going to use
continuity,
media,
people seeing.
It's all about giving in order to get people to recognize you as someone who wants to help them. It's not a commercial. In fact, the presentation I just did at Label Expo was really on behalf of Sappy, which I know I mentioned earlier when we were talking about haptics. There was someone in there who, when I finished, he was with a prospective customer of theirs. He's a converter. And he said to me, that was really good. And then later he said to someone at the booth, that talk was excellent and it wasn't a commercial, which is really a great compliment because all we're doing is trying to educate people.
Absolutely. By the way, I'm going to plug Sappy. I have loved all of the Sappy marketing material from as far back as I could remember, right up into all of the spot UV books that Daniel Dejean worked on, that Classic Color has printed. I've got them behind me. It's like print porn to me, right? I take it out, I rub it. It's like, where's the genie? Is the genie coming out of the bottle? Everything you touch, they had heat sensory ink in one of them. They had just so Sappy. You are the GOAT when it comes to marketing paper and print.
For sure. So then let's do this, because I know we're going to wrap up shortly. Let's do a second podcast where I can talk to you once the research piece is out. I can talk to you all about that, because it would be very helpful. And it's a Sappy piece, and I'll send one to you so you can feel it. And it's more in the line of it's really the evolution from the neuroscience of touch. And this is called the Touch Advantage. And this one is all about touch with packaging.
When's it coming out?
Pack Expo.
When's that?
Early November.
Gonna make me wait that long? Can we get the sneak peek? And so I could be the first to have it here? That would be great.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, no, absolutely. And anything else that you could think of that we could talk about that can give people things to think about to help improve their business for their customers. But I really, going forward, I want printers to think about their own companies. I want them to think about how they could market themselves and build their brand up. And to the people listening, you understand that if you do mailing and marketing and you promote yourself and you put yourself out there, who's going to benefit the most aside from the company and your customer? Your salespeople. Because when they now walk in somewhere, they're going to be known already, as opposed to having to start off fresh and maybe stutter a few words because they don't know where to start if they're not great speakers. But when you see Nike coming at you, you don't ask what it is. You just try on the shoe and buy it, or any of them like that, right?
Yeah. Well, and further to that point, the more connected, and this goes back to the consultative sales or relationship sales, the more connected you are to your customers, the earlier they will bring you into the process, even before the quote, so that you're actually helping make the piece better. And that's how you build partnerships.
Yeah. So there's one piece I never did, I always wanted to do, but I wanted to send everybody, and if you're listening, do it. I wanted to send prospective clients a really cool box with a shoe in it, right? And then they open it up and the message is, well, now I got one foot in the door. How do I get the other one in?
It's great. I love that one.
Because I think people want to deal with people that are thinking out of the box, so to speak. And that's an old cliche. But they want to be, I used to love to bring ideas to the customers, whether they use them or not, and most of them not, but they like the fact that I was thinking of them in my day-to-day, right? So it's so cool. So, okay, we can go on, but I'm going to take you up on your second offer to discuss the report when it's done, and I'll probably call on you for a few other things because you gave me so many ideas in my head. So maybe it'll just help me get them out of my head and decipher if it's worth doing something with. Anything you want to add at the end before I cut us off?
So, well, it's interesting. I mean, even in my own personal branding, I got into speaking. And so I'm speaking at if any of your listeners will be at the PPC, the Paperboard Packaging Council in Atlanta, October 2nd. I'm speaking there. And then I just spoke at Label Expo, and I'm speaking at Pack Expo on November 3rd. It's the first day on Sunday, the first day of the show. That Sunday, I'm speaking there in the afternoon at 4:00. And then I have a webinar coming out sometime in November, the first half of November, that will also, if you can't make it to Pack Expo, that will also be the report. And then I'll talk to you about it on your podcast. And if anybody wants to reach out to me, you can find me on LinkedIn. I post every day. You can look up my website. I know you mentioned it at the beginning. It's vickistrull.com.
I'll put everything when I post this in.
Yeah, you'll have it in the notes. Yeah. So thanks for having me.
Cool. Amazing. Thank you so much. By the way, just for full disclosure, we did this before, but the recording didn't work. So this is our second time doing it. But by the time we do our third, we will be really good at this.
Really good.
So I thank you so much for the time and for coming on and all the information you share. For everybody else, if you made it this far, oh my God, I'm touched and I'm honored and I'm humbled. Thank you so much. If you know anyone who wants to be on my podcast with a thought or an idea, please let me know. If you want to be on the podcast, just let me know. You know how to reach me. I'm everywhere. Otherwise, I wish everybody a great day. And Warren Werbitt, what they think, I love print.